There was nowhere else to retreat. The game was up. Okay, he gasped. I give. But the enemy was unwilling to leave it at that. One final thrust, and Jax felt the end of the foil pressing against his stomach. Angrily, he flipped up his fencing mask and barked, "Really, man? Back off!" Too late. He saw the fleeting vision of himself standing there in full fencing gear, mask raised. It was like a picture-in-picture image from a TV, and Jax knew better than anyone what it signified. No sword could match the power of Jackson Opus's remarkable eyes. By flipping up his mask and glaring at Gary Northrup, he had accidentally hypnotized the boy. Just a few months before, Jax would have had no idea what he was seeing. It had taken Dr. Elias Mako and his Sentia Institute to explain it to him. A mesmeric link had formed between Jax and Gary. In a way, part of Jax was inside his opponent's head, peering at himself through Gary's eyes. Still masked and in full gear, Gary began to reverse across the gym, heading for the exit, heels first. "What are you doing?" Jax asked in bewilderment as his opponent passed between other fencers, almost getting skewered a couple of times. He kept on going, right through the half-court basketball game on the other side of the gym. Then Jax remembered. His exact words had been, "Back off." To a subject under hypnotic control, that was nothing less than a specific instruction. Gary was backing off. "It's okay, man, I didn't mean it." But by this time, the subject was lost in the shouts of the game and the percussion of the basketball on the hardwood floor. He retreated, straight out the door of the gym, a bounce pass twanging his foil as he shuffled by. Jax started after him, pulling down his mask as he ran. No sense looking at the guy again. All subjects were different, but it was obvious that Gary was easily bent. Much of the science of hypnotism was unknown, even by Dr. Mako, who was the world's foremost authority on the subject. How long would Gary keep going? Who knew? He wasn't going to backpedal around the world, but the effect might not wear off until he found himself out in traffic somewhere. Anything that happened to the guy would be 100% Jax's fault. He caught up with Gary, who was half buried in the flower bed on the front lawn of Haywood Middle School. He'd fallen over a plaster garden gnome and was thrashing around, still trying to back up. His white fencing uniform was caked with damp black soil. Jax rushed over and helped him to his feet. It was only recently that he'd discovered he was a mind-bender. He was just learning to control the effects of his powers. "It's okay, Gary," he said. "You can stop now." But Gary was deep in his trance, kicking up dirt as he scrambled to withdraw. With a sigh, Jax flipped his mask up again, and also Gary's, to make sure there was eye contact. Jax had the old Opus family trait of eyes that changed color, ranging from pale green to deep purple. At that moment, he was passing from charcoal gray into royal blue. Obviously, he wasn't going to get away with a shortcut here. In order to release Gary from the last command, he would have to be rehypnotized, this time by the book. "You will stop backing off," he said when the PIP image reappeared. Gary's struggles ceased abruptly. "When I count to 3, you'll wake up in a happy and relaxed mood. You'll remember nothing about this, especially the part with me in it. Oh, yeah. And there's a worm on your shoulder. Go get yourself cleaned up. 1, 2, 3. Gary popped up and disappeared inside the school, leaving a trail of black earth and mashed chrysanthemums behind. Jax exhaled in relief. The last thing he needed was for the Haywood staff to think that Jackson Opus was the cause of anything peculiar. That was the whole reason he dragged his parents to this Connecticut town, 77 miles away from everything they knew and cared about in New York City. It was also why he was no longer Jackson Opus. Here in Haywood, he went by the name